Welcome to the Cochise County Clarion, February 2024, issue 19. Trojan Horse, Richard Barr. The story of the Trojan Horse is about how, after many years of war between the Greeks and the Trojans, that the Greeks were able to infiltrate the city of Troy inside a large wooden horse that the Trojans thought was a gift. Once inside the Trojan city in the night, the Greeks left the horse and completely defeated their Trojan enemies. In World War II, our American paratroopers were dropped inside the German defenses and helped defeat the Germans. Throughout our history, there have been many stories of how one war group was able to infiltrate within their enemy's defenses and defeat them. America has a population today of roughly 340 million people. During the Biden administration, we will have had an invasion of somewhere between 10 to 20 million people from over 140 countries. According to law enforcement people on the border, a very large percentage of the people coming through are military-age males. Many of these are males from other countries that hate America. Keep in mind that there is virtually no vetting, checking of backgrounds, health, etc. So we really have no idea who we are letting into our country. What we do know is that many of these military-age males are from China and Middle East countries that openly hate America. Unlike our history of immigration, these people have no intent of assimilation into our country or pledging their allegiance to it. Former FBI executives sent a letter to the federal government warning it's the most dangerous situation they have ever seen. One tiny indication of the trouble to come was a small gang of these immigrants brutally assaulting two New York police officers in Times Square. The damage and death these enemy immigrants that hate us can cause is hard to imagine, but it will be enormous or even fatal. Governor Hobbs recently visited Sierra Vista and said she didn't want to play politics with the border problems and blamed the Republican Party for voting down a bipartisan bill that would limit the invasion to 5,000 per day. Your governor and your two senators are willing accomplices of the Biden orchestrated invasion. What should they have done? Look at the fight that Texas is putting up to protect their state and the nation. 25 other state governors pledged their support to Texas, but not our Governor Hobbs. Our next title is Stay in the Right Lane by Randall Limbach. The Sierra Vista Herald recently published an article titled, "Some Arizona Lawmakers Are Sick of People Driving Slow in the Left Lane." The article summarizes new legislation Mr. David Gowan, Arizona legislature, may propose. The article states he and other Arizona legislators are bothered by drivers cruising along the highway in the left lane. There already exists a law, SB 1681, which mandates driving in the right lane of the roadway unless passing or making a left turn. But Mr. Gowan wishes to further penalize such unpleasant lawbreakers with a mandatory $250 fine on top of existing fines and fees. In its current state, this bill does not appear to define roadway. Therefore, it could be interpreted to apply to all roadways, including the streets of Sierra Vista. According to the article, Mr. Gowan states his intent is to apply this added consequence only to violators on freeways and highways, so he will study the scope of the law. My question to Mr. Gowan and all entrenched establishment Republican legislatures who focus on trivialities versus solving legitimate problems that impact people daily. What have you done in a meaningful way to secure our borders, elections, water, land, and sovereignty? Rather than enforce the U.S. and Arizona constitutions at the directions of we the people, you and your collaborators consistently provide voters excuses, glad-handing obscure communications, and lots of beautiful color brochures during election season. When you deviate from the right side of an issue, may I fine you? The last article was also contributed by Richard Barr. It is titled, Biden, Not Congress, Opened Border. There's a lot of talk today by the Democrat Party about the Republicans in Congress playing politics with the border. Not true. When Joe Biden became president, Congress did nothing to open the border. His first day in office, Biden opened the border himself. Biden replaced Trump's executive orders, which had given us the safest border in ages, with his own executive orders that completely changed the border policies, not the law, and opened up the border for 10 to 20 million people from over 140 countries, many that hate America, to come pouring in. If you want to change the open border, you need to change the president. If you feel your job is hard and you are unappreciated, think about the poor slob who serves as the sign language interpreter for Joe Biden. Let me try to understand this. We can't seem to find illegals to deport, but we sure can find them to give them money. How does that work? A final correction to our last week issue. The correction states, last week we printed a poem attributed to Nancy Olmsted. It was sent to her from a source in Pima County. And last, let us leave you with this cute little meme. This is a rhino with no clue.